Geronimo Stilton, The Kingdom of Fantasy, Part 7. When I was done with my story, King Firebreath clapped his claws. "Bravo!" he cried. Then he called for his royal niece, Princess Scatterbrain. A mischievous-looking little dragon came bouncing up. "My dear niece, accompany these royal guests to the border of the kingdom," he proclaimed. Princess Scatterbrain was so excited. "Wow, royal uncle, that means I'll have to skip school. What fiery good fortune," she chirped. Yes, King Firebreath agreed. "Speaking of school, have you finished your geography homework?" Princess Scatterbrain nodded. "Oh, yes." "Go on, then," said King Firebreath. "But remember, as soon as you reach the border, you must come back." We took off with Princess Scatterbrain as our guide. Scribblehopper began chatting away happily. "With a guide, we'll get there faster than a tadpole on his way to a flybake," he grinned. But when I asked Princess Scatterbrain which way we were headed, she didn't sound too sure. "Oh, this way, that way," she muttered. After several hours, we still weren't there, and it felt as if we had been walking in circles. I turned to our guide. "Tell the truth, Princess," I said sternly. "Do you know where we are?" She hung her head. "Oh, flame fizzlers. I didn't study my geography, so I don't know. But please don't tell King Firebreath, he'll be steaming." Scribblehopper wrung his flippers. "We're doomed." Before the frog could go on, I clapped my paw over his mouth. "Don't worry," I reassured him. "We can find our way using the stars. The Emerald Door is due north. All we need to do is follow the North Star. And there it is." What luck! I was glad I had taken that course on stargazing at New Mouse University. You see, it's easy to find your way using the stars. On nights without a moon, look at the sky. To find the North Star, first look for the Big Dipper, a collection of 7 stars. To its right, you'll find the Little Dipper. And below that, the brightest star is called the North Star. Anyway, before long, a glimmering green gem rose up before us. It was the Emerald Door, the door to the kingdom of the Pixies. As we walked through the door, once again, the music box began to chime. This time, I heard the musical note F. The emerald slid open. Inside was a thin golden cord. It was so thin it almost looked like a piece of hair, or thread, or maybe some dental floss even. A sea of grass stretched out in front of us. The air was scented with flowers. "Now, where's the map of the kingdom of the Pixies?" Scribblehopper huffed. Ribbit. "This place is so disorganized." Just then, a beetle with a shiny body and long pincers raced by. The map was on his belly. Hey, you, Ribbit, come back here," the frog croaked. He chased the bug down. Then he stood very, very still. "Listen. Fair night," he whispered. Can you hear it?" That's the voice of the sea of grass. At first, all I heard was the gentle whooshing of the breeze blowing through the grass. But then I heard something else. It sounded like, beware, beware of the pixies, beware of their tricks. I scratched my head. Was the grass really talking? Or had the cheese finally slipped off my cracker? Was I going crazy? Anyway, in front of us were several signposts. Each one pointed to a different path that disappeared into the tall grass. There was the kingdom of the pixies and the island of lies, a green labyrinth, prankster forest, mocking rocks. "Oh, how exciting!" Princess Scatterbrain squealed. "I've never been in the kingdom of pixies before. I nearly jumped out of my fur. I had forgotten the princess was even with us. Oh, shouldn't you return home like your uncle said?" I squeaked. But Princess Scatterbrain just giggled, and then she ran off. We chased after the little dragon until she disappeared into a green maze of hedges. "Fire roasted fruit flies. It's the green ribbit labyrinth," Scribblehopper screeched. I was just about to ask him about the labyrinth when a cry filled the air. "Help!" We heard Princess Scatterbrain crying in the distance. "He's got me!" In front of the maze was a welcome sign. It read, "Welcome, one and all. Come on in. Don't be shy. Be our guest. Make yourselves at home." And in fine print it says everyone can go right on in, but no one ever finds their way out. How nice, I thought. This creature certainly seemed to like guests. Then Scribblehopper grabbed my paw and pointed at that tiny print at the bottom of the sign. My teeth began to chatter. I twisted my tail up in a knot. Why did Princess Scatterbrain have to get lost in this creepy maze? What could we do? We ran after the princess, and in a matter of minutes, we were hopelessly lost. In the meantime, here's a little information about the kingdom of the pixies. It's a land of the color green, with an emerald as its gem. They favor the metal brass and the musical note F. It's ruled by King Chuckles, Prince of Pranks, Lord of Tricks, King of Laughter, Emperor of Busybodies, Grandsire of Jokesters, he who talks in riddles. He reigns from the royal palace called Big Bluebell. Enigma, the green monster of the labyrinth, guards the kingdom. He devours anyone who does not answer his riddles correctly. In the kingdom of the pixies, they use the Pranky Frame for money, and they speak Pixin as their language. And here's a little bit of a history lesson about its inhabitants. You see, there are many types of pixies. Most are friendly and mischievous, and every country of the world has their own pixies. For example, the Alvin are Dutch pixies who travel around on soap bubbles. The Bergfolk are Scandinavian pixies who mix soup with their long, long noses. And the Brownie is an Irish pixie who helps around the house with some chores.